Well, we're here in the members bar at London Scottish, and it's great this week to have Tony Copsey, Chief Executive of London Scottish, join me for a bit of a chat. Tony, I think the first thing to say, look, between us here, this is a fantastic piece of silverware the club got at the end of last season, and the long-term plan, or the short-term plan, obviously promotion here, achieved that.
Yeah.
And on the park, the boys are starting to really come together. And so, what about off the park? People won't necessarily know the setup off the park. It's a really great setup, isn't it? Here?
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate. We've got a wonderful club with a lot of heritage, and at the end of the day, everyone knows London Scottish is a fantastic brand. So that's a great start to begin with. Being involved with the club thus far, I think it's great that we've got a board, you know, headed up by David Reed, the likes of Greg Knighty and Paul Rodlinch, just to name a few, who are so passionate about the club. You know, they all play for the club, and I think it's actually very unusual. I don't think people realise in rugby terms that you have a board of directors that actually all played for the club, have so much passion for the club. So that's a great platform to be working off. I think after the promotion of last year, which was never in doubt, as we all know.
I've never known a season come down to the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, never in doubt. Very well planned, as they say. But that's really given the club another impetus and platform to probably invest more off the field than it ordinarily would be. So a lot about what this season's about is the commercial side of the club and how we start getting fit for purpose, if you like, for sustaining the growth of the club and moving it forward, really.
And I know that, you know, I've operated at this level for a while now, and certainly there are you can count on the fingers of one hand the number of clubs who've got as big a marketing operation and so on, and that's clearly something you see is quite important for the club, taking that brand forward.
Well, absolutely, and I think, and it's all about potential. I think first and foremost, I think, you know, London Scottish has that potential. So I think the fact that you want to invest in a club of this nature, you've got to be assured that there's a return on that investment, if you like. Now, that return on investment for us is more about passion and pride than bottom line. But certainly, I think the club has got a good infrastructure. We need to invest in that. And really, our plans going forward, it is about growing the crowd and improving the facility at Richmond.
One of the other things I've been struck by is actually the number of sponsors involved as well. And again, you know, we've got a list here of sponsors that people would die to get a hold of, and that says a lot about the club. Yeah,
I think again, you would come back to the brand, and I think also our Scottish heritage is very much part of the DNA of the club, and we shouldn't forget that. So I think where sponsors are really attracted to London Scottish because of its network and its access to, you know, the Scottish population in London, our links to Scotland as well. So really, you know, the words London Scottish are so true. You know, we have a lot of business in Scotland, a lot of business in London, and I think to be quite honest, we're very entrepreneurial at London Scottish. I think, you know, the club is aligned with such exploits as Hong Kong Scottish, some of the varsity match coming up in November between St Andrews and Edinburgh, and other aspects of what we're trying to do is a bit more entrepreneurial, and I think sponsors like that.
And I think I'm right in saying that London is the third most highly populated city in the world with Scottish people.
Absolutely.
And so therefore that's something you obviously keen to tap into, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, we've firmly got our feet on the ground. I think, you know, we'd like to think that London Scottish one day will be in the Premiership, but I think, you know, in the short term, at the moment, it's all about us getting to the Championship, surviving the Championship, and actually building an infrastructure on and off the field that's the best at this level. We can start by averaging crowds of 3,000 plus, and actually have something really, and a facility to be proud of. So I think that for us, a real key aim is the improvement of the facility over the coming years.
You mentioned there, you touched on the Premiership. Now, you know, a lot of clubs have said, well, we want to be in the Premiership by the end of next season or whatever, but there's a realism, I should say, about our planning, isn't there? Can you touch a little bit on the planning and where we are?
I think, you know, way back when the club went into administration in the early 2001, 2002 season, I think, you know, there's been a wonderful phoenix from the flames sort of story of London Scottish, which is just tremendous, and the club should take great pride in that. But I think when the club sort of set out a 5-year vision, literally 5 years ago, and that was really about getting to the Championship and really then sort of taking stock and moving forward. We appreciate that, you know, to even look at the Premiership or the Rabo Direct Pro 12 League, you've got to be a really big outfit for that. And there's no doubt London Scottish is not ready for that. And that's all linked to facilities as well. Without a stadium to fill 10,000 plus supporters, you're going to really struggle with that because the financial need for the team, etc., etc. So it's very much about taking stock, us really moving the club onwards in a safe environment in a sustained way is the key.
Now look, you've had some great experience, not only as a player being around the game, and you were at Harlequins for a long time, and then on to Wasps as well. Why did you come to a National 1 team? What was it, why? Why would you want to when you've got that sort of level of opportunity?
I won't say Kenny Logan got me drunk in a bar one night, but
it'll be full of people if that does the man.
To be fair, Kenny approached me originally, and I spoke to David Reed and the other guys, and I think what was great, it's really coming back to what I said just earlier in the interview, really, was their pride and passion and the opportunity to be part of something that's on the up and hopefully have a real big influence and look at something that we can develop a club, and it's about sustainability as well. It's not just about producing a team that's going to win the league and have a couple of great years. The board really focused on making sure that London Scottish has been around there for 100 odd years already, that it's around for another 100 odd years, and that throughout the whole club, the structure from the senior pro side, as we call it really, and the amateur side, the million juniors, there's a legacy, if you like, for the whole club going forward.
So it's not losing sight of the other side. It's not just about one team, is it? It's about the whole club in totality.
We have a one club philosophy. I think that's vitally important. I think it's very much again about London Scottish being the place for Scots coming to London, but it's also the social aspect, all sorts of things. It's a place to do business, pleasure, have good fun. I think the board at the moment are very focused on the whole one club philosophy and really doing the best we can for the whole club going forward.
Now, you don't have to be Scottish, of course, to enjoy the atmosphere down here either. And I think it's worth making the point, isn't it, that it's not just about Scottish people. Actually, anybody's welcome here to come and watch, to play or whatever. And it's part of that family feeling within the club. I know, having been involved in rugby for 30 years, it's a great club to come to because there is a family atmosphere here.
Well, I think I support that philosophy, being a boy from East End London who played for Wales.
But made in England.
Yeah, made in England, but perfect candidate to be CEO of London Scottish. And it really sums it up. I think what we're trying to promote here is a real rugby experience, we call it. It's, we know it's very rustic, let's put it that way. Here we are in the members bar, but it's about having a real rugby experience, a good afternoon where players and families can have fun together, but they can touch their heroes, be in touch with the players on the field, and we never lose sight of that.
Rugby's a game about people, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Sponsors, fans, players. We're one big family at the end of the day, and that's what we're about.
Now, when did you retire from playing? How long ago was it?
God, it was about 10 years ago.
So it's still the Five Nations then, was it?
Well,
Four Nations.
That's right. I was privileged to play for Wales when we won the Five Nations, and obviously rugby's come on a long way. I was very, very lucky to broach the amateur professional era. So.
And looking at it now, would you like to have played now? Or are they all too big, too strong, too fast?
I miss playing desperately. I mean, it's the one thing that, when you see the boys run out on a Saturday afternoon, the competitive juices come right flooding back. And
you want to go out and punch someone?
Yeah, you want to go
just like you did when you played for Wales.
Yeah, you want to go out and give someone a hard time and then sort of get rid of some of that aggression. So, yeah, I do miss playing desperately. But, the game's moved on. And I think the Championship, if you look at the Championship where we're playing at the moment, last year we saw some cracking games. And I think the Championship in the last 2-3 years has leaped a huge level.
The bar's really up, hasn't it?
Absolutely. This year, the competitiveness of this league is incredible. And I think, the Premiership recognised that. And the relationship actually between the Championship and the Premiership is getting closer. You see the number of dual registered players, for example.
Yeah.
But the Championship at the moment as a standard of rugby is superb.
looking ahead, I mean, we'll finish off in a second, but what is your aspiration for the club in the short and long term?
Well, certainly this coming season, we sort of said, right, we just want to be 8th position or above, getting that top 8 was a key objective. At the moment, we're sort of in that range in the table, but it's a competitive league.
A lot comes down to injuries as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you summed it up, I suppose, London Scottish has come out of National 1 with the best probably players from National 1. We recruited a couple from Barking, Dan Mufford for Cambridge, so we've probably in some ways almost got the sort of National 1 dream team playing in the Championship, and thankfully with the infrastructure, Simon, Alex Coughlin and Elko and the boys doing a tremendous job in that department. It's very competitive, so short term we've got to be able to strengthen that team, and it's all about value for money at the end of the day. The cost of supporting that team and the infrastructure is what we've got to raise, and it's about not losing sight of that as well. So this season's about survival, I suppose, building on that survival, so we can really be challenging in that top 8, top 4 going forward, and also really developing the infrastructure of the club.
And I guess just to finish off, if people out there have got ideas or things that are burning to talk about, you're contactable, aren't you? And,
absolutely.
Very, very approachable, and just don't let him hit you. But no, I mean, wisdom isn't sacrosanct. It's out there. Everybody's got ideas.
I think, the important thing is, as much as we've all got experience in the game itself, every single club is different. You'll find that the DNA of every club is different. And London Scottish is certainly unique in its outlook. The fans, what they want from the experience is different. So I think it's key that everyone shares their thought process. No idea is too stupid. Believe me, I've had a few ideas. But
like tattoos,
that's right. Just let everyone know what the form is. Talk to the staff and people around the club, and more feedback about it.
Well, look, I think the picture I picked up in the last few weeks with these interviews and so on is that it's an open club, and as you say, very approachable. So if you do want to approach Tony, you know where he is. You can't miss him on a match day. Come and see us, and if there's any ideas you've got, then put them into the club. Tony, thanks very much for joining me today.
Pleasure.
And let's see how we go on through it. Maybe we'll talk again near to the end of the season and see how we've done.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.